Hello everyone and welcome to Hutch's Garage for episode 19 of my 1954 International Harvester Farmall Super MTA tractor restoration. In this episode, the pistons and connecting rods are installed. Fold-over locks are installed on the connecting rod bearing caps and folded over. Please note that this video footage was made earlier in the year. I'm ready to install the first piston, number 1. This is the front of the engine, so I'll go over and grab the piston and connecting rod. Alright, this arrow points to the front, so that goes that way. This long side of the connecting rod faces the camshaft side. I need to make sure the throw is at the bottom, so I'll turn the crank so it's 180 degrees down, and we'll set this in here carefully like this. Get lined up like that, and we'll start tapping it straight down. Since my rubber mount is not long enough, I'm going to just start using this end of it. Okay, it is there. So the next step will be turn the engine upside down and get everything ready to connect that first connecting rod. I've put number 2 piston into its cylinder, and what we're going to do now is connect the connecting rod to the connecting rod throw. First thing I'm going to do is grab a bearing. These are standard bearings. I did measurements on the clearances on the old bearings and the connecting rod throws, the journals, and everything was okay within tolerance. So these are standard bearings. I'm putting them back on. The crank was not ground down and I didn't think it needed it, so we're going back with standard, so I'm not going to measure it. So what you do, take the bearing, put it down here. There's a notch. I'm going to put that in down as far as I can and push the notch in and try to get this flush. Now I'm going to coat it with assembly lube with my Ultra Slick, which is over here. I'm using Permatex Ultra Slick like I did on the main bearing journals. I'm covering the entire inside. Now I did not cover the back side. You don't really want to do that, because what that can do, it can reduce it can actually make the bearing too tight, so you don't want to do that. So what I want to do now, we're going to roll the crankshaft into the connecting rod bearing. Like that. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do, I've cleaned the cap, and you can't see this one, but that's on the cam side. That's the side where the cam runs. There's a number here, number 2. Also on this side, this will be towards the camshaft. The piston is facing the proper direction forward. So I'm going to put the new bearing into this bearing cap, number 2. again. Put it in the slot there, and I'm going to push that in down till it's flush. I'll move this down just a little bit. Looks pretty flush from here. I'm going to coat the bearing on this side with the Ultra Slick also. Alright, so I'm ready to set the cap onto the connecting rod on this number 2 journal. There's the number 2. Looks like it's matching up very well. Now I'm going to grab a connecting rod bolt. Alright, how this is supposed to go on, this fold over tab is to go over like this, on to the cap like that, not this way and bend it as you pull it down. So this goes on first, and this is made the same diameter as this milled out area on the bearing cap. Alright, so I'm placing that there. I'll put a little bit of oil on this bolt. It should go on most of the way, hand tight. And I'm going to do the next one. Again, there's the cap. The washer goes just below the top of the bolt head. Okay. Make sure that goes in the milled out area, and we'll put it in by hand. Now when we torque it down, this may move clockwise, so I'm going to go slightly counterclockwise to begin with as we first start tightening this down to kind of line this up. And after I torque them all down, I'll double check each bearing cap on the connecting rods here, and then I'll fold them over. Alright, that's down. And in order not to mess up the head on these bolts, I'm using a impact wrench bolt. This is a 5/8 inch socket that I'm using. And we'll do the initial tight down. And they'll be torqued to 50 foot-pounds. Okay, that one already twisted on me. I don't want to go that direction. Let's get this back here a little bit. I'm kind of holding it with my finger. Doing it. And then now I get my antique torque wrench. I'm going to pull this rod out so I don't run into it. I'm first going to tighten it to 40 foot-pounds. There's a little over 30. There's 40 on that. Alright, just a little over 40. We'll just go all the way to 50 on this bolt. Here's 50. Right at 50. Double check this one again. Good old text. Should turn that off. All right, we're at the proper torque. Do the other piston sets, and then we'll double check the torque on the bolts, and then I'll show how to fold over these tabs. I've never actually done these before, but that's what we're going to do. This one here, okay. Well, that's the end of this part of the video. So now I'm going to fold over the fold-over locks on the connecting rods. Of course, here's how they're located. Tabs out. This is seated below the washer. And what you want to do, see a flat here? You want to bend this over into this flat. If it's at a slight angle, pick one and try to fold it up into the flat on that side. So I'm going to use vice grips. I cleaned them as best I could with a wire brush and cleaning fluid, because you don't want to do any dirt. Loosen them up, and just on the first try, this is where I always have trouble getting started. Gotta get them kind of loose, put some pressure on them. That didn't work. There we go. All right, I'll just keep tightening it down. I want to pull it into the flat of the head of the bolt. A little bit more. All right, that should be good. Like I said, this one I'm going to have to go across like this. Just loosen it back up. It'd be nice if they perfectly lined up after being torqued down, but they don't necessarily always do that. Let's see if I can get a little bit more of that area there. I'm not able to do it. Slipping off. I want to get a little bit more pressure there. Well, that's pretty flat. So that's, that's basically how you do it. I've got 2 done. I need to do cylinders 2 and 3. I'll have that. So you can't really get a punch from this way to hammer it down. You could on that end. So that's how you do it. That's all the time we have for in this episode. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Please continue to join me for the next episode as I restore and rebuild this 1954 International Harvester Farmall Super MTA tractor.